So, hi, Marjorie. I'm doing this project for my sociology 210 class with Professor Jacqueline Pop. This is my friend Kiko Morris.
Look right in that screen.
She is my subject for this interview. We're going to talk about culture and where she came from, and her personal culture is very interesting. She is half black, well, I guess a quarter black, quarter Native American, and half Japanese. So, tell me a little bit about your family.
Well, growing up, it wasn't really very evident, I don't think, what culture I had at the time. That actually came later. I pretty much didn't identify with any culture at the time, or any race for that matter, or I guess nationality.
Right.
I grew up pretty much thinking that everybody was the same. We never met a stranger. I never met a bad person. I always thought that everybody was good, and I treated people the way that I wanted to be treated. And I didn't see color growing up, and neither did my parents for that matter.
Yeah.
I will say that we lived in a predominantly Caucasian neighborhood. I went to a predominantly Caucasian school. I did get accused of dissing my race quite a bit just from the way that I spoke. Um, I got the "Why don't you talk black?" Because I spoke with some intelligence, so that always cracked me up. If I think back, some of the things that things that my mom instilled in me was like the making of good grades. I didn't think about how important it was to her until you made me actually think about it. You're like, well, I'm going to interview you, and I'm like, I didn't grow up any particular way. I'm probably the worst specimen ever.
But you did.
But yeah, she
The
actually
culture that your mother brought to you from
Right.
Japan
right
was instilled in you.
yeah, definitely. Doing the right thing, doing it well, being the
Having
best
respect.
actually, not even doing it well, being the best at it. And if you weren't the best at it, you better figure out why.
Respect.
Oh, definitely respect. Respect for your elders, respect for the male in the household in particular. That was definitely something that was, now looking back on it, was probably from my Japanese culture.
And for yourself.
And for myself, definitely.
Now, your dad was in the army.
Mhm.
So, how long was he in the army? Like through your childhood, or was he
Pretty
out
much
before you grew
throughout.
up?
Pretty much throughout. He was in the military for 22 years.
Okay.
He was in before I was born. He met my mom overseas. Um, then he was in all the way up until my sophomore year of high school.
Oh, okay.
So from him, it was more of the military. You make your bed before you go to school. You got to bounce a quarter off of it before you go to school. Doing your chores. I actually had to do my chores before homework, which was kind of weird. But I had responsibilities that I had to take care of before anything else. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. What else do you want to know?
I know we've talked about that, you didn't really grow up black. You didn't grow up Japanese. Right. So you were saying you grew up white because that was the culture that you were kind of raised in.
Yeah.
But your in-home culture
Yeah.
was really mixed.
It was.
Do you have any other Japanese family here, or was it
No,
just mom?
actually, my mother's the only person that I ever met on her side of the family. Didn't meet anybody else.
Okay.
Obviously, I met some of my family on my dad's side.
Yeah. Lots and lots of family on
A
dad's
lot
side.
more family on my dad's side.
With lots of comedy.
With lots
I think
of,
that's where you get a
lots
lot of that comedy.
Definitely. And
You
know
are
what?
a comedian.
I will say that's probably one of the differences too. Is that my mom's personality and was very serious. Even when she joked, you couldn't tell if she was joking because she seemed so serious. Just like when you talk, when you hear somebody speak in Japanese, how everything sounds like they're angry. That's pretty much how she sounded all the time. And then my dad was the jokester, we talk about that all the time.
Guy.
We talked about how he looked like Morgan Freeman.
Absolutely.
Had the personality of Bill Cosby before the controversy. But that's exactly how you could describe my dad.
That is
everybody
absolutely
would
correct.
absolutely know what I was talking about.
I absolutely agree with that 100%.
And
Willie was something else.
he was definitely a trip.
He was fun.
And that whole side of the family was very, very accepting to anyone.
Yeah. They considered me family, and I'm
Yeah.
just some random girl that just showed up. Hi, I'm
And
family.
that's how they treated everybody.
Yeah. And they hugged and loved and took me in and said, "You're my niece."
Even my mom, which was weird because Japanese people don't normally show affection as much.
I felt really, really special that your mom chose to take me in because I know that. Because I've studied Japanese culture and I know how they are about family, but it's very close family, and even if you're married in, you're still not family.
Right.
But
speaking of that, my dad wasn't considered family.
Really? To her family.
To her family. Matter of fact,
God, back in those days, I mean, a black Japanese marriage would have been like really taboo, especially in Japanese.
Yeah, and especially
in Japan.
because, first of all, because it was American.
Right.
Then, when they realized that in America, a black man would be considered, not high up on the totem pole, that made it even worse. So, she was pretty much exiled from her family until I was in high school. She didn't speak to her family again until I was in high school.
Wow.
Spoke very little Japanese in the house, had very few Japanese friends. So that's why, I didn't get to learn a lot of Japanese. I didn't learn a lot of the culture because all the way up through till about high school, she really didn't. She wasn't around anyone that she could be Japanese around. So it wasn't
until she got involved with temple.
When she started practicing Buddhism was when she really got back into her culture. We did take off our shoes, like most Asian families do.
Right.
And then we did eat a lot of the food. Ate a lot of the food, which was wonderful.
Which you still know how to make.
Which I still know how to make. Still eat sticky rice. Don't eat Uncle Ben's.
No. I make sticky rice at home because I have Mama's rice cooker.
Uncle Ben's.
No, not Uncle Ben's.
I know, no.
Oh.
Anyway.
You see, we have fun.
We have fun. Anyway, so those things were instilled in me as far as the foods. And we talked about a lot of things that happened on that side of the family, but we didn't really implement those into the family as much as I'd like to.
Right. Now, so growing up, what kind of religious beliefs did you have in the household? Was Mom always Buddhist, or did she just start practicing later?
So, funnily enough, my dad was baptized and grew up Baptist, but didn't practice.
Right.
And then my mom, all the way up until, again, probably high school, didn't practice anything, and then found Buddhism. So,
and in that, there was a community of Japanese folks that she could reconnect with her culture.
Yep.
And she brought that to you, right?
Yes. Well, and she started with my daughter, actually, which was really interesting.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, she started with Kiara and taught her the chants and all that kind of stuff. And so Kiara actually got into it before I did.
Okay.
And the reason for that, I found out, is because they believe in skipping generations. They believe in so grandparents would not focus on me as much, or they would focus on me more than they would her. And then she would focus more on my kid than she would on me. It was really weird.
Right. So they skip a generation for probably prosperity, like they pass it on in different levels.
Maybe so. Well, we know she's got it, so we're going to take it to the next level. Which was kind of funny because they wanted my grandparents actually. This is weird though. They didn't really want to meet me, but they wanted to meet Kiara.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if it's because they felt like by the time my mom was back into the family, so to speak, I was already in high school, so maybe they thought, well, she's going to have...
We can train the little one.
Yeah, we can train the little one. Can't train the big one.
This one has the force.
So, I don't know if that's what the real reason was, but from my understanding, they wanted to meet her, and they didn't really care to meet me all that.
I don't really think you cared either way. You've been, I've known you 7 years, I think. 8 years? I don't know. I've known you a long time.
Yeah, but anyway, roughly. Yeah.
Family. But, it's funny because we've always made, silly references and made fun of, different, stereotypes and BS. And we've always had a ball doing that because it's just stupid stuff, that are true for reasons and not true for other reasons, but so I talked to you briefly about the one drop theory, and the theory basically is that if there's one drop of African blood in you, you're black, period. Doesn't matter what you're mixed with. And of course, that was back when they had, when slaves were in coming in, and then they started race mixing. So they were like, well, can we enslave this guy because he's half white? Well, then they had to determine how black do you have to be a slave. You know,
And of course, they chose one drop.
one drop of blood, yes, one drop, and you're black enough to be a slave. So that's kind of how that went. There was no favoritism. If you're black, you're black. And in my class, we learned how that's kind of still the way things are, not because of slavery, but because that's how it came out, and that's the way that people think. Just when somebody looks at you, they don't see that you're Asian.
No,
I did.
well, and that's
but I recognize that. I'm like, oh wow, you must have
funny,
your eyes, yeah,
culturally,
and your nose too.
The difference in that is culturally,
Right.
and I'll just be blunt.
Sure.
Black people tend to just see the black.
Yes.
White people will tend to see. They'll go.
What are you?
They'll give me the head tilt and ask me what I'm mixed with.
Right. Do you get the what are you?
Oh my gosh, all the time. And
I'm sure
so
that's
many
your
times.
favorite.
Oh, that's my favorite. So many times I go, a woman, human being. What else do you want to know? Oh, were you asking about my nationality? Oh, now we can answer the question.
You're like, I'm an American?
Yeah, I mean, it's so stupid. But yeah, growing up, and weirdly enough, in school, all throughout my school, I didn't get called black until a parent actually would get involved in the situation.
So people of your age and on your level just considered you their friend.
They considered me Kiko.
You were just Kiko. Period.
I didn't have any label other than my name.
Right.
And then it was always a parent somewhere down the line that would
your black friend.
remind their kid that I'm black. For example,
right.
One of my wonderful friends who I love dearly, every time I would go to her house for dinner, her dad said, "Oh, well, I guess we're having a watermelon and fried chicken for dinner tonight." And I'm like, "Really, Mommy? Really? Not that serious?" And at that time, I pretty much hated fried chicken because we had so much of it that I couldn't see straight.
Right.
And then another instance, I was at a friend's house again, another white friend, and they were telling jokes. Right. They told a black joke, and the mom said, "Oh, no offense." And I was like, "Was I supposed to be offended?" I didn't know I was supposed to be offended.
You're like, it's a joke.
It was a joke.
Why was it directed towards me?
Exactly. So I didn't even.
There's always that affiliation that people assume.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like even me, I told you, I hope you're not offended by anything I ask you, and then afterwards I thought, why the hell did I say that?
Exactly.
Why would you be? You know me well enough that if I said something offensive, it would have to be personal.
And that you meant it to be offensive.
Exactly. If it was offensive, it would be because I was trying to be offensive.
Exactly. So I really didn't, and I still don't. I don't look at myself that way until somebody else brings it up, and then I go, oh yeah, I'm black enough, black or a mixed or whatever.
Right.
I still don't to this day do that.
If you went to Japan, you would be considered a pariah, like even still, even with their family values and how everything is, they're trying really hard, but they're like a mono system. Everybody there, not everybody, but the vast majority of people in Japan are Japanese.
Yeah.
Here, everybody's everything.
Yeah.
So there, they have this really straight and narrow division of what is and what is not Japanese. They would not consider you Japanese. They would
not at all.
they would call you hafu, which means half. It's calling someone a half breed, and it's extremely derogatory. But they use those terms, and they use it in schools. The kids say that you're a half. It's like, geez. If somebody called me that, I would be extremely offended. You might be like, huh? Oh, okay, sure. Because you're not,
right.
Because I'm crazy and I've looked into all this stuff because I'm really interested in Japanese culture. And then I was like, I met this beautiful Japanese woman and I'm like so happy and she can teach me. And you're like, I don't know anything.
Sorry.
Because I'm like, you can teach me Japanese. You're like,
no, actually, you can teach me Japanese.
You're like, no. You're like, hi. Yeah.
No, itashimashite. That's all I got.
Itashimashite. You're welcome. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I got. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. That's all I got.
And that's why I love her. But then, see, so you're black, you're Japanese.
Yeah.
Do you have any of your Native American culture instilled in you at all?
Or
did Pop even really explore that side of his family? Or
no?
No.
It was his grandmother
Right.
He was.
And when you look at his face, you could tell that
You
native.
can see it.
You could see that native.
You can
Absolutely.
definitely see it. And but I met the woman twice, and that was never.
His mother was full Native American.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And then his father was black, and that's where
Okay.
that's where his mix comes from.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
So in his culture, my gosh, I wish that he was still living. Unfortunately, he's gone. But it would have been amazing to interview him about growing up.
Oh,
with
well,
that kind
he
of split.
definitely grew up. No, he grew up definitely on the black side. Just listening back to all the stories that he's told,
Sure.
some of the, and I hate to say, I'm not even going to say stereotypical. I'm just going to say some of the common stories that you'll hear,
Sure.
like when it's there's a thunderstorm outside, they unplug all the appliances and they pretty much sit in the dark. They don't do anything because they're afraid they're going to get struck by lightning,
Right,
or get
right.
struck by lightning.
Right.
Or growing up on a farm,
Right.
and his nickname was Picket because he was the youngest and he would sit on the picket fence. And they all had nicknames back then.
Oh, that's
my
cute.
uncle was Uncle Stick, and we had an Uncle Skeeter. And
You're still Uncle Skeeter, and he's still Uncle
and
Stick.
still Uncle Stick.
Yeah.
They grew up. They grew up during a racist time too. So
Right.
he was actually
He was
he
more
had to
involved in that
endure-
than you were.
Yeah, he had to endure a lot of racism. One main story I can think of is one of his best friends was actually white, and they would go to each other's houses every day after school. And one day they'd go to his friend's house, one day they'd go to his house, and then the mother would always offer my dad a glass of water. And this one particular day, after he drank his water, he saw the mother throw the glass away and realized she'd been doing that the whole time.
Oh my God.
And
Wow.
other than that, the woman had never treated him any differently.
Right.
But it was that moment that he said
That he felt black.
I'm black.
I am black.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's the one drop,
And there was the one drop.
that one drop filled up the cup.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
exactly. That she threw away. And
That's crazy.
That was that moment for
That's
him
a
that he was like,
horrible-
yeah.
That was a horrible
And he was a
thing.
kid.
My God.
He was a kid when that happened. But it
Oh,
reminded
it gives me chills
him.
and it hurts my
That's
heart
gonna make me cry
because
thinking about it. But
Sorry.
that was okay.
People
But that was
shouldn't-
that moment for him.
that's disgusting that people are like that at all.
Well,
ever.
it's still like that. So
It
my
is.
moment, I can tell you what my
Okay.
moment was. The person I was dating at the time was Caucasian. Had been dating him for a little while. Two different things happened that really struck home with me. I was friends with his cousin. I mean, friends. We were in band together. We hung out together. We had mutual friends together. Started dating her cousin, and she wrote off her cousin. She wouldn't talk to me anymore. She tried to convince all of our mutual friends not to talk to me anymore.
Because you're black.
This was in high school.
Because according to her, all of a sudden you're black.
Right. This was 1988.
Wow. The
The
80s were pretty multicultural, so that's really
it was a real eye opener for me because I was like, oh, that racism doesn't happen. Wrong.
right because you grew up. It almost seems like you grew up kind of sheltered because of the military, because of the that your parents didn't shove Japanese or black at you.
Right. And my mom, the biggest thing is she always just wanted me to blend in. That's why she didn't. That's why we didn't move around. When my dad still got stationed other places, we stayed put. She wanted me to have a core group of friends that I grew up with. She wanted me to feel like I was part of a community. So
Yeah.
she never made me, push one way or the other. When it came to religion, when it came to anything, music. I mean, I listened to the widest variety of music that you can probably think
Yeah,
of.
you do. You and me both. It'll fit
I
it
mean,
all.
yeah, country to hardcore rap,
Yeah.
Maybe not hardcore, but
I know you're a Metallica fan because
love Metallica.
we have been rocking it in there for a long time.
But and it's funny because my mom listened to like classic rock.
Right.
Now that I look back on it, her favorite band was Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Awesome.
And then my dad listened to Motown. His favorite artist was Al Green. He had every single Al Green album. Notice I said album that there was. He had every single one. So, and they never, pushed one way or the other. They never said, oh, well, you need to listen to this music, or you need to talk like this, or you need to.
Like your mom didn't tell you have to learn how to play the, I forget what the Japanese.
Oh,
It looks like a zither, but I forget what it's actually called.
She did make me learn how to use an abacus. Just so you.
Well, that's okay, but that's multicultural. That's not just Japanese.
But you want to talk
But
about
they
somebody
still do
that-
use
they
that.
still use that. Awesome.
But you learn to use chopsticks a little bit. I know how to use chopsticks.
I do better with the rubber band than the piece of paper. Go ahead.
But, you
Or I can
know.
stab it.
But your mom taught you how to make some really good rice, I'll tell
She
you.
did. Sticky rice.
And amazing fish. And, you know,
Yes.
and how to be an extremely wonderful, respectful person, and how to have fun. Because I know you and your mom had fun. We did. And
And my dad had fun.
your dad had fun with everybody.
My dad could have fun in a paper bag.
I think I've seen him have to.
Probably.
So, okay, so then, so you identified later on with your Japanese culture through trying to bond with your mom through religion,
Yes.
through food, through those type of cultural things. I feel like it was easier for you to bond with your dad because he was more open and there was more family. I mean, I don't know. God knows what would or wouldn't have happened if the Japanese family had actually embraced you and, you know, made you part of their life.
Oh, I will say that as I got older, I really wished my mom had immersed me more in the Japanese culture.
Yeah.
Even just to learn about it, because I don't know, you know more about it than I do. And I'm being honest, you know, I'd always wished that she had done that. Because I would have loved to have given that to Kiara as well, just so she knows where she came from as well.
Right.
And it's really funny. So, I mean, not to jump into Kiara already, but, you know, so her being white, black, Japanese, and Indian.
Is a perfect, beautiful mix
Beautiful mix.
of crazy, crazy gorgeous and smart and responsible. She's a wonderful kid.
And you know what she calls herself? A strong black woman. And it's hilarious because most people looking at her definitely would not assume she's black.
Right.
She gets Hispanic all the time. That makes her very
Really?
It makes her very angry.
She doesn't look. Okay, I'm going to put a picture and I'm going to try to make it clear on here. You can't really see it. This is Kiara and Kiko, and this is her mom, Kamako.
Okay.
And this is Kiko and her dad, Willie. Now we've discussed how funny it is that when she stands next to her dad, she looks black. Oh yeah. And when she's with her mother, I took this picture of them, and if you can't tell that this is her mom, you change the, there you go. They are so twins, it's not even funny.
You can have the same haircut.
Exactly. And even a funny story is that during Christmas holiday one year, they were at the stove cooking together, and they had the same haircut, the same height, wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and I could damn near not tell which one was which because they looked so alike from behind. They had the same Japanese shape, and I'm like,
wait, I have my black butt.
yes, she does have a black butt. She got that side, but I'm telling you, they did have this perfect little, it was just the cutest thing ever. I'm like, and they both turn around and look at me, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I wish I had a picture of that because that was just such a classic, perfect example of, duh. Yes,
Mom.
you look like your mother, and when you're with your dad, you look like your father.
And it's funny because people assume when they hear of my mix, they assume I look like my dad. And then
But you really don't.
Yeah, and then I show them a picture of my mom. They go, "Oh my God, no, you look just like your mom." I'm like, "Yeah, but wait." And then I show them a picture of my dad. And they go, "Oh my God, you look just like your dad."
It's like the 50-50 match. Perfect there.
Definitely their child.
Now, as an adult, where do you identify? As black, as Japanese, as...
Well, here we go again. So, I think because of where I work, I don't think of it. I don't until I realize, okay, so this is going to sound really terrible, so please don't take it that way. So I work at a lip store.
Right. So most of your people that come in there are white.
85% of my clientele is white,
Right.
maybe even 90. And I joke that I know all 6 of my black customers, and people think it's funny, but that's pretty much maybe 7. I know who they are. I know their names. And people laugh at me. They're like, that's so racist." I'm like, it's not racist. It's a fact. I have 7 black customers, and the rest are white. And that's usually the only time that I remember.
Yeah, that you even
Is
think
when my black customers come in, because then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like
that.
I'm like that.
Right.
And that's really, I don't. Other than that, I don't ever think about it until something comes up.
Right.
Usually another human being brings it up, and then I'm like,
something.
oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I am half black. I am half Japanese. Whatever. I still identify myself as Kiko, and
Right.
just Kiko, no last name.
Yep, just Kiko.
There's no last name.
She's like Prince. She is getting married.
Or Cher, or Madonna. You know.
Maybe
not Cher.
Maybe not Cher. And so the fact that Kira identifies as black is, how does that make you feel? I mean, is that weird to you because you don't identify yourself specifically as a race, or
Not
do you think
weird.
it's because I know that most of her friends are white.
All of her. She has a roommate who happens to be black too, who played lacrosse. Weird.
Oh, how funny! Yeah.
She says that, but I don't think that she honestly identifies herself that way. I think she's very liberal, very, very, very liberal.
Yes, she is.
And I think that because of that, she tries to identify with the weak, with the smallest part of her.
Right. I'm gonna build this part up because this is where people think is what people think is weak. I'm gonna show them this is my strength.
Right. Exactly. And she speaks very highly of her grandfather all the time. She speaks highly of her grandmother too, but more so of Papa than anybody in the entire family. And she's very, very proud of the fact that she can identify with that part of her culture and be proud of it. I mean, obviously, we have some black sheep that are places that we don't need to talk about.
We all do. I'm the black sheep. But yeah.
But for the most part, our whole entire family, we can be proud of every single person in our family for all kinds of different reasons.
Right.
We've got 4 in the family that have served in the military. So, and she identifies with that. I'm very, very proud of the people that part of our family, because they represent something good and not represent something bad.
Right. On that black side of the family that is supposed to be the dark race, where it's identified as, oh, and you're black.
Right.
People will be like, oh.
Came in handy for scholarships, though.
Oh, yes, ma'am. And we used to goof around, and people would do something stupid to you because you're black, and I would say, it's because I'm black, isn't it?
I still pull the black card. It's hilarious. And it still freaks people out. In 2017, when I pulled the black card, it still freaks people out.
Really?
Because I will literally say stuff at work. It was because I'm black. No, not because I'm like, I'm joking. Relax. I'm joking.
That's awesome.
It's quite funny.
Yeah, no kidding. So now you have a master's degree because you worked your butt off online, no less, while working full time and raising your daughter as a single mom.
Yep.
You have a master's degree in human resources.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Not that I'm using it, but anyway, that's a whole
irrelevant.
That's another interview altogether.
The point is that you did that.
I did.
And I think that strongly speaks of the culture that you were,
it goes back to that. It goes back to my mom.
Your mom and your dad being.
Finish what you start. Finish well. I graduated with
your dad having that
3.65. With my master's degree and doing it online and 40 hours a week jobs.
40 hours? Yeah, right.
40
like
plus.
60.
Yeah. Well, you knew where I worked.
Yes.
That's where we met.
Exactly. I hounded her, and I forced her into my life.
You don't see that, do you?
Never.
Not Marjorie.
No way. But I am very blessed to have this lady as my friend. She is wonderful. She has taught me a lot about myself, about people in general and how to get around things without shortchanging yourself. So well, yeah, thank you. But I just wanted to close with I'm jealous. I'm so
Don't
jealous
worry.
that you're part Japanese. No,
I can be jealous.
yes, I can be. Yes, I absolutely love culture and family culture as well as the larger scale culture of I want to go to Japan. And like for you going to Japan, I think that you really have a blast. And if you ever had any time, haha, that's really funny. I would love to study Japanese with you.
Absolutely.
That'd be great. You drag Kiara into it, and we can just talk about people, and they won't know.
From what I told, that's rude. So.
It is, but people do it anyway.
This is true.
They do it in Spanish, and I speak enough Spanish to know, and then I answer, and then they're like, "Uh oh." Yes. I am really grateful for your time because this woman is so busy. Planning a wedding, has a new stepdaughter to raise who's 11 years old, fiance, daughter in college who's working 2 jobs and has her own apartment. Our strong black woman there. And wonderful, wonderful daughter that she's raised on her own. And I'm very proud that you're my friend.
Thank you. Happy to be your friend. Well, I hope you got what you needed. If
I
not,
did.
sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Professor Pop, for the extra time.
Thank you.